Brice first made a name for himself here in Nashville as a songwriter. The last few years, he's really emerged as an incredible artist as well. His Love Like Crazy single spent 55 weeks on the Billboard charts, more time than any other single since Eddy Arnold's Bouquet of Roses in 1948. With an accomplishment like that, a celebratory party was certainly in order.
We're here at BMI today celebrating with Mr. Lee Brice, the longest charting single in history. I mean, congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But, you know, today's about the writers, you know. We're at BMI, and Doug Johnson and Tim James, they changed my life. They wrote a great song, and I was just able to get my greedy little hands on it.
Talk about your reaction the first time you heard that song. Did Doug play it for you, or?
Yeah, Doug played it for me, you know, and he's not the kind of guy to push songs on any artist, you know, but he said, Lee, I've got this song, and I just wrote it, and I'm going to pitch it around town. But before I do, you know, you're my guy, and I want you to hear it. I said, of course, so let me hear it. So I heard the song, and immediately I loved the story. It made me think of my grandparents, and it made me feel like, you know, home. And then also just the melody itself and the way it sings. I grew up with that kind of influence, you know, as a singer, and so I just fell in love with the song all around, and I said, man, can I put a vocal on it, see what happens? And I got in the studio, and within 30 seconds I was like, yes, I want this song, please. So
it's magic, and you knew.
That's right, we just knew, and immediately it did really well. It took a long time to climb up the charts, but it was steady and just worked for us, so we're so excited.
It did really good. I think it peaked at 3, right?
Peaked at 3, but I mean, you know, it's funny, we got a number 3 song, we didn't get a number 1, but we got the most played song of the year. So, you know, that's a
lot of radio play for an artist.
Yeah, and that changes your life. You know, we've had 3 top 30s over the last 3 or 4 years, and that's a great thing, you know, but when you get something in that top 5 and the way that Love Like Crazy got played, it really changes your life. So we couldn't be more appreciative.
I'm here with Tim James, the co-writer who wrote with Doug Johnson and Love Like Crazy. When you guys sat down, I mean, who came in with the idea?
You know, on that particular day, we didn't really have an idea. We just kind of started kicking stuff around, I guess about 2 months prior to sitting down with Doug, and we've been writing for 10 years. My dad had passed away, so I was just talking about some of the things my dad used to say, and one thing led to another. When you're with a guy like Doug, you know, it kind of, all you got to do is start throwing some stuff around, and boom, he's on it. So
it just all came together. Did you guys finish it in one day?
I think we did. I'm not sure, but I think we did. Yeah, it just was one of those songs seemed magical at the time. Again, a lot of that stuff in my case came from, you know, passing of my dad, and like Doug he's a gifted writer, so we just stayed with it that day. I think we got together one other time, kind of tightened it up, and then he played it for Lee, and the rest is history, and it made history. What a great, I mean, congratulations. That must feel great to know that it stayed on the charts that long and had the, you know, because a lot of songs go up really quickly and then fall off. It's hard to keep one steady on the charts, and you did it. Well, you know, a lot of that, as you know, goes to the Curb folks, especially Adrian Michaels and his guys. I mean, they just stayed with it. You know, a song can come and go and in no time flat, but that thing just hung around, and they stayed with it and felt like it was a quality song, and turned out to be.
Always treat your woman like a lady.
I'm here with Doug Johnson, who wrote this with Tim James, and now you guys sat down. He said that you came, you know, he had the idea, and then you guys, it just sort of all happened. Talk a little bit about what happened that day.
It's just one of those things where some days you're blessed, and as Harlan Howard said it, we held the pen, he writes the songs, and it's just one of those songs that we just kind of got in there and let the song take control, and loved him and love what he does, and I think you know what Lee does as an artist. I think working with Lee had a lot to do, at least on my part, of some of the dynamics in that song, and we got lucky. We showed up, you know.
Now, the other side of this, you wrote it, and then Lee got the privilege of hearing it, and you played it for him, and then you were able to produce it on Lee, too. So you wear a couple hats here.
Yeah, we're just lucky all the way around.
And you worked with Lee from the beginning of coming to Nashville, didn't you? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, heard Lee through Lisa, my wife, and just was knocked out by his writing and his singing and his ability to connect. And that was, Tim and I probably worked on that song on a Thursday or Friday, and that weekend I called Lee and I said, hey, one song I've ever called you about that you weren't part of, and you just got to hear it. I think it's yours. I think it belongs to you. And luckily he loved it. Luckily for Tim and I, he loved it.
And it changed his life, and it changed your life,
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, because that was, what, 57 weeks on the charts?
Yep, amazing, absolutely amazing. Tim and I can write a slow song.
I don't know what to say, but congratulations on sticking in there, writing, working hard, going out, meeting radio. We have to thank radio for receiving Lee, but also for the way Lee went out there and worked radio. Thank you for working with our promotion team the way you did. And thank you for being Lee Brice.
They've been together 58 years now. That's crazy.
Lee is not going to rest on his laurels. He's off playing all over America right now. So if you want to take in a show, you can keep up with his tour schedule online. We still have lots more ahead, so don't go away. We'll be right back with a new artist you won't want to miss.
Hi, I'm Tia Goins, and we're going to talk about my new album, The Way I Remember It, next on Inside Music Row.